Hello, today we'll be looking at 6.4 player feedback and evaluation. We did a numerous amount of tests. We played a basketball game, and we looked at the box out. I'm just going to use this PowerPoint to compare the group data, the analysis of two different players that are fighting for this position. Um, I'm going to compare their criteria, and I'm also going to compare their technical analysis of a box out. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the group data. Um, as you can see in the basketball match you played, we had a varying range of heights. The shortest being Georgia and the tallest being Will. Um, and this could maybe affect the amount of rebounds. You would think that this could affect the amount of rebounds um, and maybe steals or blocks they got, but that also was proved not true. Um, like as you can see, that rebounding is clearly not just about height. It also probably has something to do with skill level. So you can see that there's no positive correlation between defensive rebounds or offensive rebounds and player height. So that means it varies all over. That could be due to experience or just positioning. Um, and then for this PowerPoint, I use comparative data to compare two particular players that Charlie Impen and Aaron, and they are trying to get this position of a power forward. So they need certain things in order to get that position. So when you look at their different data, you can see that Aaron scored a lot more points, 2-point shots and layups. This may be experience level. He is the experienced player in this unit. Whereas Charlie is inexperienced, so that might be why he didn't get as many points or as many 2 points or layups. Also, blocks and rebounds. Um, Charlie Inkpen did not get. Charlie Inkpen got a lot more blocks and a lot more rebounds than Aaron. And if we see later on, um, that might be due to his boxing out as Aaron's boxing out and his jump height. Those are two things he needs to improve. So that might be one thing. Charlie did a very good job of blocking, got 3 blocks, and also got 3 rebounds. And Aaron only got 2 blocks and 2 rebounds. The strengths and weaknesses of these two in the performance criteria, I would say would be Aaron's 2-point shots, assists, and steals would be his strengths, whereas he needs to work on his rebounding. And Charlie only has more strengths on the passing and blocking side of things, so assists, blocks, and layups, whereas he needs to improve his shot, 2-point shot, rebounds, and steals. Now, moving on to technical analysis. Um, the players are asked to do a box out, and we're just gonna compare their technique. When I play Aaron's one, you can see that it's quite a good box out. He does create a lot of contact with his opponent, and the position he's in at the moment, at the beginning of the video, as you can see now, he's clearly looking at both the opponent and the ball, which is good for positioning. He does probably need a bit more contact when controlling the opponent. This is just to secure the opponent in place so they can't get past him. Let's still have a look at Aaron's one. Let's have a look at Aaron's. Yeah, so Charlie, play that one more time for you. Yep, that was a quite nice shot there made by Auburn, but it was good. It was not a very good box out in my opinion. I think that he was focusing on the ball a bit too much, more than the opponent. And if you focus on the ball too much, you can see his positioning. He's already looking at the ball. This can affect the way that, because the opponent can easily come around you, that could easily affect the rebound you get. I think that he could have done a lot better job on his um, preparation phase, which is that part exactly. He needs to start on a side on. He started on a side on position, which gives the opponent an easy way. As you can see in the pitch, just flash by him behind him. And that'll give them a major advantage, probably letting them get the rebound in a realistic situation. Also in the execution phase, he did not jump for the rebound, which that honestly that could have been hard because the shot went in, so it didn't go up in the air or anything. But I think he could have still at least hopped for the rebound and used his elbow to protect the ball and give that outlet pass. He just dropped it down below his hips, which is easy for a defender just to swat straight out of his hands. Whereas he could have chinned the ball, pivot, and look for an easy outlet pass. Now, in comparison to the perfect model, I think Aaron was probably the closest to the perfect model. He did almost similar to Blake Griffin, just needed a bit more contact, as you can see. Blake Griffin's right under his guy, whereas Aaron's got a lot of space between him and his guy. And Charlie's guy can literally blow past him. So I think in that order, it goes closest to the perfect model. The perfect model says that you're supposed to jump for the rebound. Aaron did a very good very good job jumping for the rebound. Whereas Charlie didn't jump for the rebound as much. Aaron chinned the ball and looked for the outlet pass as Blake Griffin did. And so, and Charlie did pass the outlet pass, but he did not really raise his elbows enough. Now, looking at the group data, we're going to look at some correlations. So, this we used some very nice equipment at Chichester University where we used the force plates to help us measure mean force, also things like jump height, mean propulsion, time in air, velocity, that kind of stuff when we do a vertical jump. As a group, first, we're going to talk about the groups first before we go into detail about Aaron and Charlie. As a group, you can see there's a positive correlation between jump height and mean force, and also mean velocity and time in air. It's a significant one because it is above 0.5. That's the R value, sorry. So there is significant and it is realistic, and it is going up in a positive correlation. Also, you can see that the mean velocity is exactly the same. It's a positive correlation. This means that if you improve those four things, you would automatically increase your jump height. And also the impulse versus jump height has a positive correlation as well. Now comparing Charlie to Aaron, the experienced player showed that his jump was not as great as the non-experienced player. You can see that the clear positive correlation as the degree or type of jump increases. So Charlie increased every time he jumped, depending on the out angle, whereas Aaron kind of fluctuated his jump height, his 90 being the lowest. That may have been due to having to sustain that position for quite a long time, like a bench that we had a bit of technical difficulty. He had to bend his knees for quite a long time. So that would have obviously fatigued the muscles, so he might not have got a great result for that one. But saying that, the propulsive impulse was a lot closer, but still had similar results. Charlie jumped a lot higher, well, not a lot higher, slightly higher this time, but still went up as the type of jump increased, and Aaron fluctuated throughout the whole thing. And I was actually saying, Charlie is a footballer and he may have to use jumping quite a lot in his sport, depending on his position. So he's only non-experienced in basketball, but he may be experienced in another sport that requires him to jump quite a lot. That means that he could still have a better tech. He might know how to jump better or have to use it a lot more than Aaron does, because Aaron may play shooting guard at the moment. He doesn't always have to get those rebounds. Whereas Charlie, if he played like striker, for instance, or Any type of football will have to jump for headers or defending or whatever. He may have to do that a lot more than Aaron would. So he may have a bit more experience in the jumping field of things. Maybe not the numerical data, not the the notational data or the technical analysis, but he could have a lot more experience in the jump area. Now comparing these two to the rest of the team, you can see that Aaron is clearly above average in most of his things, whereas Charlie is above average in most of his things, whereas Aaron is a bit below average. That caused him to um, in those two criteria. You can see that on the left, you can see his mean force and his time in air are both very low, which caused him to have quite a low jump height. Whereas Aaron did really well. He came fourth in the class with a 0.44 meter. Now, overall, we made some targets with Charlie. I'd like him to improve his mid-range shot in 2 weeks by 10%, and also his jump height by 0.2 meters in 2 weeks also, and secure at least 5 rebounds in the game using the box out technique. So all the box out techniques, all the rebounds he gets and he doesn't use the box out technique, the only ones that will count are the ones with the box out technique. I'm just gonna go over his strengths and weaknesses so we are clear what his strengths and weaknesses are. In notation analysis, his assist and layups are very good. Also, in numerical data, his countermeasure jump, his jump height, mean force are very good. And in the technical model, he did secure the rebound and he knew the position of the ball. But his weaknesses are his 2-point shots, his defensive rebounds, and steals. His numerical data, he could probably improve his 45-degree jump and his mean propulsion. And in the technical model, I would say all the phases, he needs to improve quite a bit. Now, looking at his improvements for notational analysis, we could say we could do a drill, which is called 5-spot shooting or star shooting. This is where you shoot 10 shots from each of the spots on the screen where the numbers are, not the arrows. You make 10 shots, then you can, if you wanted to, you can take 2 steps out to the 3-point line and make 10 shots from each spot. This really helps with the mid-range. It just gets you in a motion to catch and shoot. If you shoot the ball and you get someone to rebound for you, like a partner, they can pass you it back, so you don't have to keep running after the ball all the time. It helps you to get momentum and learn how to control the ball a lot more, and it is a very useful drill to have. For the technical model, I think we can do a simple box out drill. This is where you need 2 other people to help you out. So one person, as in the video, like in the video, one person throws at the ball. The other person can use a pressure pad and maybe push Charlie really hard, or draw a lot more contact than actually would be in the game. So he'll be forced to have to box out the person really hard, and then he'll box out, rebound it, and give the outlet pass back to the passer. I think he needs to focus on his jumping for the ball and also focus on creating contact with the opponent. For the numerical analysis strategies and improvement, I think he needs to do some plyometric drills, jumping jack squats, jumping lunges, and box jumps. These things are very good for improving the stretch reflex and the stretch shorten cycle, which is basically just the stretch shorten cycle is just the ability to contract your muscles, let them contract and relax really quickly. So an eccentric contraction into isometric contraction repeatedly or really quickly. So one to the next, really quickly stretch and then shorten. Whereas the stretch reflex is just the reflex of having to jump, or like for example when you hit your kneecap, it can have a stretch reflex to protect itself in a sense. It also improves mean propulsion and jump height even more, which is exactly what we're looking for with Charlie. Overall, I think that Aaron would get the position, although his jump height was not great. I think that's something that he can improve on, and he proved himself in all of the other aspects of the game, especially his boxing out. So I think he would get it.